My name's Donald Francis. I practice just south of Edinburgh. I know Ross because he's my coach. And I was persuaded to get a coach by a friend who said, Andy Murray has a coach. How can you teach the best tennis player in the world to play tennis better? Tiger Woods has a coach. The New Zealand All Blacks have a coach. I have a coach. We meet every week. It changes my world. The weeks we miss it, I feel it. Anyway, I'm a Zimbabwean. I came to the UK at 15, joined the army at 16 because I was too bloody stupid to do anything else. I found myself in 2004 in Iraq. I was a captain in the British Army. I'll be honest with you, it was the most stimulating 5 months of my life. I'll never ever live that 5 months again. Don't judge me, please. It was the most exciting period with men and women with a rifle and a bayonet and a helmet and body armor and bombs and death and blood. But I loved it. But as I got on the Hercules to leave, I knew I was never going back in uniform again. My son was born 10 days later. 10 months later, I arrived in Devonport, or as some people call it, Devon Pit, Iowa. But I loved it there. And not long after I arrived, somebody talked to me. I'll just reverse the story slightly. I'll confess I left Iraq quite a damaged soul, actually. I was an absolutely convinced and convicted atheist. You could not tell me there was any power in the world because I would tear you down. I was angry. I'd seen and experienced some horrible things. And somebody said to me, chiropractic is a treatment for everything. There's this universal intelligence, this innate intelligence. And the first thing, I put my head in my hands, I just thought, bullshit. I've spent all this money, thrown away a whole career to come over here and hear this bloody nonsense. And then, anyway, in for a penny, in for a pound, we get to fourth trimester toggle. And this picture is in the toggle book. And on the opposite page, BJ is reminiscing in print saying, if you're alive, you have 100% innate intelligence. And I struggled with it. I struggled with it so much. I actually hated that picture. I never understood it. It was only about 2 years ago in one of those Facebook rants between the mechano-terrorists and the philosopher-terrorists that I saw it again, and I suddenly realized what it meant. And I cannot explain that picture to you. Much like The Secret, I'm just going to leave it there and I'm going to discuss 3 very quick stories. My favorite patient, I know we shouldn't have a favorite patient, but my favorite patient is Fiona. She's 37. She has Rett syndrome, which means that at 18 months old, her frontal cortex began to recede. And she's a 37-year-old baby who has periods. She has never made a conscious cognitive decision in her life to stand, walk, eat, or do anything. She has some educated intelligence. She can smile, and she can refuse food. And her parents have been my patients for ages and ages. And we talked about Fiona a lot. And about 11 months ago, her mum came in tears and said, please, will you come and see Fiona? She's on 7 medications. Do you know I used to kill people? Anyway, I went and I assessed her. I'd never seen her before. I'd heard about her. She was lying there like this. She had white froth coming out of her mouth. She was on retrovirals, antibiotics. I can't remember the whole list, but it was 7. And she'd been on them for 9 months. And she had no vitality at all. None. I assessed and adjusted her. The adjustment took less than 30 seconds. The way I do it. It's a cranial adjustment. Listen, don't judge people on how they adjust, just the fact they do. Within 3 weeks, I also said, listen, she's been on all these pills for 9 months and she's getting sicker. Why don't you just stop them? It's your decision. Just because the doctor says you don't have to do it. And they did it. She's not been sick now for 10 months. Her parents can go on holiday. She has smile, she has life, she has spark in her eyes. She's my favorite patient because she can't speak. She never complains. Then we got Ruben. Ruben turned up age 7 months old. He's still a patient. He's 4.5 now. Ruben had spent most of his first 7 months of life in sick kids here in Edinburgh. It's our equivalent of Great Ormond Street. He'd never slept for more than 45 minutes, ever. His parents' marriage was shot. And his mum was a midwife. Midwives are usually great patients, but she was very skeptical. She came in, I assessed and adjusted him. The whole process took less than 30 seconds. Again, it was a cranial adjustment. That night he slept for 14 hours, but she still wouldn't make a second appointment. A week later, this very sheepish mum turns up. Son is now back to screaming, looks like a blueberry on 4 legs. And we adjusted him again. This time, the effects lasted about a week. And she wouldn't schedule a series of care. She just wouldn't do it. The whole family comes to see us now. Ruben hasn't been sick. He was discharged. By the way, he was 1 week away from having an operation on his pyloric sphincter because they couldn't think of anything else to do. And the final story is Christine. Christine's 69. She came to see me 15 months ago. And Christine has a stoma. She's had a stoma since she was 40 because she had Crohn's disease. She had her entire colon removed and quite a lot of her small intestine. She came to me for the most boring thing in the whole world, neck pain. I flippin' hate it. And we had a chat, and she said, I've just had a fistula put in because I'm due to start dialysis soon. I said, all right. Well, despite arriving at Palmer as an atheist and hating that picture, I currently have the most incredible amount of certainty you could possibly have. We've got a very short time now. But lo and behold, she thrust this letter in my hand. I've got it in my pocket somewhere. And she said, I've been discharged by the urologist. They've been taking her bloods and her creatinine levels every 3 months for the last 3 years. And my urologist didn't quite understand it. But 12 months ago, my creatinine levels fell below 3. And they've now stabilized. And last week, on the 6th of June, the day she was due to start dialysis, they flew to Tenerife on a holiday to celebrate the fact that she would never be on dialysis again. Adjusting people is much more fun than killing them, I have to say. There's a certain amount of satisfaction in both. Ross has given me so many badges recently that I had to take some off. I was beginning to be weighed down by them. I used to be a Boy Scout. You see these badges here? Ross gives me badges because I give him money. Really, we need this school more than most of us actually need sex. Go have a think about it, please. We make a phenomenal amount of money as chiropractors. We see and create a huge amount of service. Without the school, they're going to create a medical school called Chiropractic in Millwall, where they're going to go to school along with medical doctors and come out with a subset of physiotherapy with minor manipulative therapies. If we do not set up a vitalistic school and create a chain, create a chain reaction, our future may be uncertain at times. So please help Ross and Bex. I don't think the profession knows what a debt of gratitude they owe you guys.